There
Hold on,
we
hold
go.
on. You recording? Hold on. Put the good face on. I saw the other one and I looked like I was 300 pounds. I like, nah, man, it can't be. Okay, now I look massive.
There you go. So
Hey, if you look good, you feel good.
that's
So,
right.
That's right.
So let me repeat. Today's topic is love. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, not distant. Good. And a very crucial topic for us, very confusing topic. We don't know what to do with it. For many of us, especially men, it's like just a word. And there's an old joke, right? A couple have been married for 50 years. A wife comes to the husband and says, you know, why don't you tell me that you love me anymore? And he goes, remember at the altar? Well, I said it then, and if anything changes, I'll let you know. So for us, it's like, so, I told you once, nothing changed. So I wanted to do a quick round and actually hear from you guys. What do you think love is? Like, what does love mean? Whoever wants to start and just call on the next.
So I think love is like overcoming. Like I don't like if someone brings me, gold bars every day and they drop them off my door, oh, I love that. I love that. I love that person, right? I love them. But that's not, how can that be love? That's like a natural, you're good to me. That's great. You make me feel good. That's good. So love is just this overcoming thing. As men, that's what we do. How about Ozzy?
oh man, me love. I've been in love, and I've been in love. There's a big difference because in English, love is like I love this, I love that. So it's a superficial word. But now for us Latin guys, when we say te amo, which is the translation of love, it's not the same. When you say you te amo or I love you, it comes from the heart. It means a lot. That word love is supposed to be like when you want that person right next to you and you do whatever the hell you can because you love that person, you give yourself so much to that person, that is considered love to me. But then again, love is overused. But when you say in Spanish, te amo, it means a lot. Dre, you're next.
Yeah, I'd agree that we overuse the word. I don't like to hear it much. I think it's lost its value. To me, it's more about actions. Show each other that we're trying to study each other and understand what our desires are, right? And it takes time because people usually have layers and they don't want to unveil their vulnerabilities. And it's about just trying to study their desires. I think that's love. Ben.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. It's like there's so many permutations of it, and a lot of it is really selfish or like the fantasy, the fairy tale kind of love. But when you get right down to it, the real authentic love is that you're considering the well-being of the other person. Like that's the most important thing to you is like considering their well-being, what will bring them happiness and contentment and fulfillment. Julian?
Yes, thank you, Ben. I thought that love was or is it's like a look for each another. It's like it's like you have to keep an eye of your couple or maybe together build stuff. But nowadays, I think the love is in a different way. It's like a feeling that born from a relationship, but uh, born from you, as you love as yourself and your couple. I don't know, complete that part, but it's a different that I thought first time and how I see now. Yeah, but at first I thought that love was keep each other.
Very cool. So you guys are an advanced crowd because you already understand that loving somebody else is different than loving fish. Um, at least that ground we covered. Because really, and that's maybe a fault of the English language, but we love everything today. We love cars, we love women, we love food, we love vacations, love, 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 and then at the end of the day, we don't love anything because we just use it. We use it for pleasure, and this is what we consider love. And then there's also the confusion that we have in the beginning of a relationship. Who remembers their first love? Everybody. The first lady where you're like, oh, your being is just vibrating on a different level. Your
I thought it was lust, man.
lust. Hey, listen, you can define it anyway, but it's not just lust. It's different because you're not just looking at her physically. This is where your brain is so filled with hormones that you're literally infatuated with her, that the idea of her does keeps you up at night, that she fills your all of, like she just completely blinds you. Now, of course, we know that, you know, this the first love effect, and some people use that as the ideal of love. And we see that when it comes to love, and all of you have more, like you guys have the right definition, right? It's doing something for somebody else. It's realizing their desires and fulfilling them. It's doing something for somebody else. It's the part of overcoming. The question for you is, where do you get the strength to do that? Like at some point, just like with the first love, when the brain is swimming with hormones and you're ready to conquer the world, to do whatever you need to do to show her that you're the man, to, you know, that first stages of love. So marriage is so difficult. You get married and then the hormones begin to dissipate. And then it's even taking out the trash becomes difficult. Like even doing basic errands becomes so heavy. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's a routine, sometimes, you know, there are all different situations, but why does it become so challenging to do something for somebody else? Somebody that we're supposedly love. Or have you guys experienced a different experience maybe?
No. The where you're getting at is, yeah, you get first you get married because you're in love with that person, but after a while it just becomes routine. Then do your attention, the same attention you had in the beginning of the relationship, you're not receiving the same attention, or you're not giving the same attention. You're not on top of her in the sense like uh, grabbing her hand, kissing it, whispering little things in her ear, stuff like that. You know, hey baby, you look beautiful today. You lose that stuff through time because you keep forgetting that a relationship, you need to work on it. It's a 24/7 thing with the other person. So we tend to forget that we start putting the stress, our daily routine, and we forget that we need to cultivate that love that we first had with that person. And it goes both ways. It's a give and receive. And sometimes you give so much and you don't receive, everything else becomes just like, oh, she wants this now. Oh, she wants that now. But meanwhile, you're waiting for the affection to come back. And you do stuff for her because you want her to feel, you want her to come up to you and give you a kiss. Oh, baby, thank you for doing this. Appreciate this. Nice little touch here, a little touch here. That's because love consists of touching, seeing, smelling, tasting. It is your whole or everything involved. And that's part of love. And we lose that.
Dan? Let's do another quick round.
What was the question? I was in.
Why is it so difficult? Like, why do we have all of this energy in the beginning of the relationship, and then we get, serious, we get married, and then
Because it's
just
new.
everything.
It's new. We like new things. We buy new cars. We, like, it's new. When things are new, it's exciting. And then it's a reciprocal thing, and I liked what Ozzy was saying, like, you try to do something and it's like, yeah, anyways, I want more of what do you want? Well, just more what? And then anyways, so like, yeah, the more you go into that, the worse it actually gets at times. So yeah. How about Ben?
So there's a lot here. I think one pitfall is that we fall back into what's in it for me rather than thinking about fulfilling the other person. But just like Dan and Ozzy were saying, it's like you reach a certain level, and what used to satisfy you, you want more. It's like that's not enough. So, and another element is that, like, the other person reflects my flaws back to me, or my shortcomings, or my lacks, or whatever. And so it's like you get into that calculation of like, this is not worth it. I'm putting forth all this effort, and all I'm getting back is how bad I am, that kind of thing. So there's like a lack of fuel that, I don't know, somehow I need to generate the fuel in the relationship, or there needs to be like a co-generation of it. Anyway, how about Julian?
Very agree with Ozzy and Ben. First, I given so much, and I hope that receive the same, but you don't get that, and this is put me a little bit down. But I try to understand too that the only responsible for the happiness, or my happiness, is it's me. And I'm doing now is given, trying to not get anything at change, or not trying to get anything for me. I'm just doing that because is that what I'm feeling. But very, very agree with Ozzy and Ben. You do, and you're given so much, but you don't receive the same way. Andres?
Okay, yeah. I think what happens is because it's all corporeal and it's limited to the five senses that Ozzy was talking about. And if you see the same Mona Lisa, you get tired of the Mona Lisa. You smell the same thing, it smells the same. There's nothing new. There's no nuisance, right? So it's limited. So I think Alex was talking about the hormonal effect, and there's studies 3 years. And once that shit is gone, it's gone. You got to tap into some other force, some other sense. And I think Alex was referring to it last week a little bit, gave a little hindsight about that pyramid. And I'd have to say it's another dimension or another realm, because corporeality is very limited to our five senses. And I think that's where the novelty and then the corporate reality kind of sparks up again when you start uniting it closer to that pyramid. I think that's where corporate reality gets that spark, and then you both are kind of thinking about each other's desires and so forth. But it's because it's corporeal. Like anything else, I got this car for 3 years. This is a piece of shit, and I'm still making payments. You know, it's not that doesn't have the new car sense. You know, something like that. Back to you, Alex. Was I mute?
No, Dre, I'm gonna mute and unmute you so that you can focus on the road.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry about doing that because I'm concerned your eyes are like going off the road for like
No,
5
no,
seconds. My
it's
heart
a
is
slow
pounding.
lane. It's a slow lane. So, yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So there you go, you're muted. So you guys pretty much, we know it, we understand it, you know, we all feel it. For a man, if women knew how much they're just killing us inside for not appreciating, because really, what do we need? We just need, we're still little boys inside, you know, when you do something for mom and she like pats you on the back and she's like, you're so wonderful, you're such a great kid, I love you so much. And that's it, and you're just flourishing and flourishing, and you're like ready to go and do more things, and you're like a kid already bouncing like Ozzy did. And they're like, you didn't do it right. And inside we just die a little bit. You know, I did, but I did it for you. It's like, I understand it may not be perfect, but I did it for you. It's like, you didn't do it right. Or, you know, you didn't do what I asked you to do. So it's a big aspect of it. It's a huge demotivator. Women don't even realize that they do it. But it's a big problem in relationships. The other thing, like you guys said, well, actually, we kind of covered it last time, right? About the internal accountant that naturally, just psychologically, we have to have, we have to have, because we're emotional beings and logical beings, we need to have a reward in order to be able to do something. There has to be something to drive me to do an action. You know, I don't know if you guys had that experience where you're sitting around, you're like, you know, I could eat, but I'm not that hungry yet to go make a sandwich. You know, and the way you wait a little longer and you're like, okay, maybe I can get up, but it's a really good show, so I'll just wait, you know, I'll just wait a bit more until you really get to the point where it's like, all right, I'll pause it, I'll get up, I'll make a sandwich, I'll go back, I'll keep watching. But it's like this internal monologue where you check your desire versus the pleasure that you're experiencing. Like, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? That is happening subconsciously the entire day, all of our life. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? What pleasure am I going to get for it? What am I not going to get for it? All of these calculations are actually voices that we receive from childhood and conditioning and schooling, and all of that ties together from our subconscious, and we just keep hearing this voice and discussing it with ourselves, things that we don't even often realize that we're actually discussing. But in us are constant negotiations of should I do it or should I not do it? And this is where it gets kind of difficult. The other thing that we spoke about last time is that historically, we always had a strong male community. That male community also kept us strong in the home, because most likely this community was composed of all various type of men, right? Married men, single men, elderly men, younger men. And you had a clear passage of wisdom through this society, essentially, the male society, where you could learn from other people's examples. You could actually get strength to do things that you would normally do. Because if you're looking at your friend who's having a good marriage, or they're having children and they're a little bit older than you in experience, you already have somebody to come to, somebody to get advice from, somebody to, listen, I'm having problem in my marriage, we're fighting, whatever. And then another guy just says, yeah, I've already been through it, so now I can give you advice. And because we don't have that, it's a lot more difficult for us to also move and actually take care of our families, because the energy, right? The reason to do things, the reason to invest in our families is not there. It's just getting more and more difficult. And especially if our wives don't understand that we need recognition, we need certain things, it's becoming more difficult. The other thing, you guys heard about the book, The 5 Love Languages? Ben heard. So it's a really interesting book. The premise of it, it's by Dr. Gary Chapman. The premise of it is that people speak 5 love languages. Totally. Some may speak 1 or 2, and they have 1 primary and 1 secondary. And I'll go briefly through the love languages. But the idea is these. So let me read it first and then I'll explain. So the 5 love languages are gifts or tokens of appreciation, right? So when I get a present, it means the other person cares for me. Like my brain interprets it, he loves me. He cared enough to go to pick out something. It doesn't even matter if it's significant, tiny little thing, but he thought about me. This is the interpretation. And it doesn't matter if they actually like the present or they don't like the present, just the mere act of giving something physical, it creates a sense of love. Because you went out, you thought about me, and it creates that feeling of care. The second love language is quality time together. So quality time together, these are the people that feel loved when they have your undivided attention. When you guys can sit down, you can talk to each other eye to eye, there's no disruptions. They feel that because your time is so valuable and the fact you're spending it with them, uninterrupted, separate from the whole outside world, that means you love them. And it interprets and creates sensation of love and appreciation. The third love language is physical touch. Like Ozzy mentioned, and I'm also that type of guy, physical touch is not just sex, and it means a lot to us. Physical touch is a little brush on the shoulder, a little kiss on the cheek, a little hug, a little scratch on the back, like basically very, very small things that, again, just send our brain into motion, and it does something very, again, you feel cared for, you feel comforted, you feel loved. Just touch. Ozzy, just 1 second. Let me finish the 5 languages and then. So these are the first 3, right? Gifts, quality time together, physical touch. The 4th one is words of affirmation, right? Compliments. You're so great. You're wonderful. I love how you smell. I love how you look. I love that you got your hair done. I love all compliments in all shapes, forms, and sizes. Creates a sense of love. The 5th one is acts of service. This is when I do things for you. When I see that I need to hang a picture on the wall or whatever you ask me to do, I do it. Acts of service. It's not just running errands. It can be all sorts of different things where I do something for you, where I take the initiative to create a certain thing and I do it with you in mind. Now, if you see, all of those languages have 2 things in common. One, it's the language the person who we intend to feel loved speaks in. And one, I have to actually think about them. And more often than not, we have 2 partners that speak 2 completely different love languages. And this is making it very difficult, because if my love language is physical touch and her love language is acts of service, I feel that I want to make her feel loved by touching her. To her, it's annoying. She wants me to do things for her. And she thinks that by doing things for me, she loves me. But I don't need anything she has to do for me. I need her to like, you know, like grab me, something. Yeah, pat on the shoulder, like anything. And that gets really challenging and really, so go ahead, Ozzy.
No, but the thing is, it's weird for me. I hate to be touched.
So it's not your love language. That's okay.
No, but I'm saying not by her, by whoever I'm with. I enjoy it, but from other people, I don't like to be this. If we're in a, let's say, in a meeting and people are grabbing you and stuff like that, I hate that. But when it comes to the woman that I'm with,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that. I mean, does it make sense? Do I make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, we've evolved so much from prehistoric times that all of these variations of our desires have transformed. That there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but the basics are the basics. Um, Again, like a close friend of yours comes to you and he just like knees into your back and starts giving you like a massage, like a close friend. You wouldn't enjoy it? See, I'd like be like, yeah, I'd be drooling. Okay, well, again, that's fine. Um, so here, this is also, and now that we're thinking about Julian's homework, um, maybe what was the love language? Quality time together. Maybe quality time together isn't what she's looking for, or maybe she's looking for a different type of quality time together. Um, the very purpose of our conversations, our talking with our women, is I want her to tell me what she wants. Because if she tells me what she wants, I can actually do something about it. And by listening, I put myself in a position where I can zero in on it. So for example, if we're talking and she's like, I'm tired, I don't want to talk to you right now. Like, I don't want to talk. So it's like, you don't want to talk. So, but just tell me, you can coax it. It's like, what happened? Did I make you mad? Did I make you upset? You can coax it out of her, and then she can actually begin to open up and tell you, what she really wants. Also, pay attention to what she complains about, because that usually what she wants it is being unfulfilled. Like, I don't know if you've heard that, but it's like, when was the last time you got me anything? This is a person who likes presents, who likes gifts. It's like, when was the last time you ever took me out anywhere? It's like quality time. You don't ever say that you love me, the words of affirmation. So maybe that person needs more, you look beautiful. Oh my God, you're so gorgeous today, different things like that. So let's summarize, right? Love. There are two aspects, right? Love, there's a giver of love, there is a receiver of love. Essentially, love is not a feeling, it's an action. For men, especially, love is I want to say it properly, because if it gets recorded badly, like the women are gonna eat me out there. For men, and I think I mentioned it in one of our meetings, like, why do we work so much on cars? Because at some point when we're investing into something, that becomes a part of us. And it sounds very bad when you're talking about women, right? Like if you're investing into her, then she becomes a part of you. And women don't understand that for me to care about something, I have to have possession. Like I have to feel that it's mine. If it's not mine, it can take care of itself. I don't need to take care of it. Somebody else can take care of it. But if it's mine, then it's mine. And we do it and we get that feeling only after we invest and we invest and we try to figure it out, right? And it's complicated, but I want to invest. Not because like it's a game. If we can turn love into a game, you'll be unstoppable. Because then it's not about the outcome. It's about how do you get to the end result? It's about how do you actually make her feel loved? And you'll know when she's loved. Because then you'll just feel it. She'll start doing things for you. She'll start talking to you differently, touching you differently, looking at you differently. She'll start glowing. Your house will be different. Your children will be different. A woman affects so much. I see it on my wife when we're having good periods of time. Man, the kids are well behaved. The house is immaculate. We're having the best of time together. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but life is good. And all it is just based on our relationship. They influence so much of our life. And if it's bad everywhere. Work is bad, the kids are bad, the house is bad. It's just, what is this? I don't know if you guys want to get into like energy and fields, but women, because they're much more sensitive, emotional beings. And emotions is what runs the world, essentially, which is why women always drive evolution. Their emotions and their thoughts shape reality. Which is why I heard this from one relationship psychologist, very good, a very brilliant guy. And he goes, never, it was in Russian, but I'll try to translate. It's like, you don't want to leave a woman angry at you. And it doesn't matter how she's connected to you. She can be just random woman on the street. But it's like, you don't want to put yourself in a position when a woman is angry at you without a resolution. Because then it just builds up and builds up. And even if it's in a subconscious, it builds up. And that's why, it's funny. I think I was talking to Dan about a friend of his where either Dan or Dre, I'm not sure, but he was a womanizer, right? Lots of women, lots of broken hearts, lots of angry women. Ben, hell hath no fury like a scorned woman. Yes. And I was just like, out of curiosity, because I believe that. I believe that if you anger enough women, your life is not going to be very nice. And so I'm like, Dan, so you still keep in touch with the guy. How's his life now? And he's like, he's got like, what did you say, Dan? He's got like 5 girls.
All he wanted in life was a boy. He got a ton of girls, which are wonderful, and he loves them very much, but he wanted that boy. And his mom was so cool. She said, "You're never, ever going to get a boy. I guarantee it." And just amazing. Like, so it's him versus all these women, right? And it's tough. It's exciting. Yeah, it's a beautiful family. But that's, yeah.
Okay, so I've said a lot. Again, kind of like all over the place, but let's zero it in. Let's get some questions in. Let's see what you guys think. Some questions?
So what's the best method so that both male and female turn off the accounting system?
That's a good question. What's a good method to turn off the accounting system? So just to kind of zero in on the accounting system. Accounting system turns on where I feel that I'm lacking. And if I give to somebody else, then I'm going to have even less. and then immediately it kicks in. If I feel abundant, that I have everything I need, then I am ready to give everything. And this is where we as people evolve through society, because if we have a community, right, that we are connected with, where they help us, we help them, it's, you know, like it used to be like that, where you could go to somebody's house and you could eat there without asking, or you could ask for sugar or salt or butter or whatever it was, and nobody cared. Where people, when people on the outside helped educate your children, right, about social norms, like you don't behave like this in public. You know, now everybody's like so in their little prison of like, just don't touch me, like don't talk to me, like leave me alone. That it's just restricts and constricts a person, and society pushes on them this individuality. And instead of us being large and interdependent and depending on each other. So I think the answer to that in short is society. If we can build even a small group of men that is really focused on this, that is like supporting the idea of a good marriage, that is giving each other props, that gives each other example, right? Why did I ask Julian to share? Because it's not about success or failure. Because when I see that he's trying, I say to myself, man, I want to do more. I want to try too. I want to do this and this and this. And then if I share, I give him strength, because now he's like, man, I'm not in this alone. I have my other friend in me with a group who's also taking an example. Suddenly you feel responsible that your conversations with a wife are not just your conversation with a wife, because you're impacting with this example every single man in the group. You're giving them strength, you're giving them courage, you're doing it for them essentially. And then you have strength to go and continue to do it, even if it's not really working out with her, because your focus is now much larger. It takes away the stress, it takes away the pressure. Like building and balancing these two worlds is really an art form. It's something that we're going to start feeling and seeing how it works, but it's magnificent when you begin to feel that responsibility towards others. I hope I answered your question.
I have a couple of questions, actually. So in your introduction, or kind of like your teaser for this week, you said we were going to talk about how women fall in love and how men fall in love. And so, yeah, I'd like to talk about that. But then also last week, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and, you know, you drew the pyramid, and, you know, it felt like we basically just got started in that, of like, well, okay, so a woman's fulfilled when you provide her with a home, you know, with all the enough, because you got to work your way up the pyramid. So how do we fulfill our partner as we make our way up the pyramid?
Good, man. Thank you. Great questions. So first of all, how do women fall in love? How do men fall in love? Very super simple. Men fall in love when they invest, because then it becomes a part of them, just like I just mentioned in the group. When I do it for somebody else, it becomes a part of me. Like if I do something for the group, okay, so I'll give you an example. I was a part of, still am. It was like a course where it was about health and relationships and stuff like that. And so I'm very close friends with the instructor, and initially, like, I understand the whole aspect of group work. And so he started working with me personally, and one of my assignments was to switch 2 weeks, just fruits and veggies. For me, it's a nightmare. Fruits and veggies for 2 weeks and no eating after dark, like after 7 p.m. And I was like, how do you want me to do it? He's like, just focus on the group. Commit. First of all, you commit. You make a public statement. Guys, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. Second, you tell them, I'm gonna report to you every day. and you report on it. And what I felt is, I suddenly felt that I am obligated to this group of people to keep my commitment. And if I didn't keep my commitment, I also had to tell them. So then I felt shame. I knew that forgive me, I knew that understand, but still I felt like I was robbing them of certain progress and inspiration themselves. So when we begin to invest like this on different fronts, we begin to tie ourselves and understand that all of our actions are connected to each other, because essentially they're all stemming from me. And so this is how we grow, because a man grows when he expands his territory, right? From the day of cavemen, we had to piss on enough trees to expand our territory. Then we have to build enough homes, we have to build a big village, guard it, whatever it is, but we have to constantly build. The same thing in relationships. It's not just our wife, it's our relationship with our friend, it's our relationships at work. All of this is interconnected, how we do it. And when we invest into it, our effort, then we push the boundary forward and we welcome people into our domain. What was the second question? Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah, the pyramid, how do we work our way up, maintaining fulfillment for both people
Well,
in the
it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs only says very simply that you cannot think about higher self-actualization if you're hungry, like your stomach is growling, because your body is going to make you think about your stomach, but how to fulfill this immediate need for food. So you want to make sure that you can provide, but then once you have that, then you have a need for for a higher desire, like safety, like a house, like whatever desire arouses in you. So you have to begin to think how to fulfill it, and then it raises you to the next desire. But ultimately, what drives everything is the tip of the pyramid, which is self-actualization. The tip of the pyramid is this tip of spirituality. It's like, what is the purpose of it all? What is the reason of all of my actions? Some people are beginning to be more concerned with that question, and others are fine with different things. So it's just different levels of desire, different levels of awareness, that regardless of where you are, it's fine, but you can't force it. There is a gradual predetermined path, right? Like a train. It needs to hit all the stops on the way, and you have to get all the experiences.
Okay, so I'm going to make this like an example from my own life. So I felt like if I got the basic needs, just food, shelter, clothing handled, for me, I wanted to skip straight to the self-actualization. I didn't care so much about money or power or fame or anything like that. Knowledge, okay, I was kind of a knowledge junkie, but my wife, on the other hand, she felt that she wasn't, just based on what you said last week, it's like I can see that she wasn't fulfilled because I was not ambitious. I didn't want to start a business. I didn't want to make a lot of money. I was just interested in like the basics and then self-actualization. So maybe, we weren't a good match for each other, but maybe there was a way to like make things work in that relationship. I don't know. So I guess that's my question. Is there a way to make it work?
There is a way. You just didn't have the support you needed. You didn't have the support you needed to tell you that when you have a family, you got to make sure that they're set up, that they're okay, that they're doing well. You didn't have the support that could have told you how to speak to your wife, that, listen, not a business person. I don't have these aspirations. You know, this is what I like to do, and this is what I do. And we're never gonna have a mansion on the hills and whatnot, a private jet, but this is what we are gonna have. XYZ. I want to learn how to get in touch with you. I want to learn how to love you. I want to learn all of these things. Maybe I'm not perfect yet. I'm never going to be perfect. But for you, I want to try. And different things that could have been done. Again, everything that happens for a reason. All of our experiences that we experience for a reason. Um, um, so how would you do it differently? You would genuinely, and this is where it comes to dating. A lot of people just lie to themselves in the beginning, um, because they want to impress, right? But then when you get together, there's nobody to impress anymore. Like it's just you and her, and you are naked. You're bare. I feel like I'm clothed, like I'm hiding my true self from her, but she sees through me right away, and I see through her all of the flaws, all of the. So in the beginning, you just want to be honest with the person. You want to express your desire. You want to express your intention. She wants to tell you about herself and what her dreams and goals are. And all of these things change anyway. So somebody would want to be rich and famous, and it can change tomorrow. You never know. Life is, especially today, it changes all the time, constantly. So guys, maybe one more minute. Any more questions? Any suggestions? Any topics that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, maybe next week talk a little bit more about like Ben's example. When a woman is pushing you towards something that maybe she visualizes you or maybe sees your potential and you're not fulfilling it, do you attempt to see if you can fulfill that desire? Because maybe she sees greatness in you and you're just kind of just slacking, right? You're just like, I want to watch the game, man, leave me alone. But she sees something in you, so she's very like, you were born for this, right? Type of thing. So maybe a little bit about that, where you kind of let her do your thing, her thing, pushing you, and see where that goes.
Good. Anybody else?
Alex, can you repeat me the five languages of love? I have physical touch, act of services, quality time together. I missed two.
Gifts,
Okay, gifts.
quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation.
Okay. Yes.
So words of affirmation are compliments.
Mhm.
And usually you know which one she speaks by what she complains about.
And I like to talk a little bit maybe in the next meetings, the opposite that Andres says. Uh, what if your partner or your couple arrives in a comfort circle, yeah, and she wasn't do uh, anything to move from there. That's
Can
is
you,
like the
can
opposite.
you,
Like,
can you repeat it again? And I'll be right back. Well, I'm still listening. I'm just gonna turn my camera off.
okay, it's like the opposite that Andres says. Is what if your couple arrives in the comfort circle? Yeah, do you understand?
Yeah, like
Uh,
he's saying that basically Julian sees that she has potential, but she's just sitting in her comfort zone. He wants to get her to the next level. The opposite
yeah,
of what I said.
yeah, of course. Thank you, Andres.
So what about next week? Um, I think you talked about 3 sessions and then something, there was like going to be a bump up in the level or what are we, yeah, I'm just curious about like where we go from here.
Right. So the plan is we don't have nearly enough participants for anything serious. So the plan is to keep our weekly meetings and just expand expand our circle. Meaning, we want people to hear about this. Also, maybe I need to sharpen the message. I need to sharpen the delivery, the focus. There's a lot of things that still need to focus. So in the meantime, we can cover different areas, different areas that you're concerned about, different things that we can already begin to implement in relationships, different stuff like that. Julian, about your question, your wife doesn't need to grow anywhere. When remember, yes, last time we covered how boys, they are born boys, and to become men, they need to overcome, they need to grow, they need to have different experiences, and every little thing brings us on the level of a man. So that a man is somebody who can handle different situations, who can solve problems, who has a large network of connection that he can activate. Like he's, the larger the man, the bigger, the better. With a woman, she has everything she needs from birth. Of course, she develops, but she innately is a lot more in tune to her role that a man acquires through great effort. The problem is that the way our education system and our society is set up is that women aren't appreciated for who they are, but again, appreciated for what they can do, so that they then begin to be confused and acquire male characteristics. So they now want to go and do things. They now want to go and work and grow, right? You hear women, I want to change, I want to grow, I want to be better. But it's like better than like, what does it mean to be better? Acquire another skill? Like, what does it mean? Open up a company? Like, make it, what does it mean to be better? All she needs to do is be more feminine, meaning relinquish more control to you, which instead you're going to have to prove to her and maybe fight for it, that you can handle things. And again, I'm just speaking kind of in broad terms because everybody's situation is different. But for me and my wife, I'll give you an example. It was very comfortable for me to just sit and do nothing in the beginning, and it was a lot of friction. And for her, it was very difficult to let go because she was, from birth, essentially, taught that you need to go to work, you need to study hard, you need to do this and this and this, and beaten to death with the fact that if she doesn't take care of herself, nobody's going to take care of her. And then she's all self-sufficient. And if she's self-sufficient, she doesn't need me. If she doesn't depend on me, she doesn't need me.
Mhm.
And this is difficult in relationships because it's a big fear for women to depend on a man, because then she can get hurt. It's a lot of different calculations go into that, which is why our love to them is essential. It proves to them that I have the right intention. I do want to be there for you. I do want to try. I do want to work on it. They're very hurt by society and by all of the system that we've set up for them that essentially gives them freedom, but locks them up in nature that doesn't belong to them. And they have to be in these different roles, completely disconnected from who they really are. Now, I'm not saying that a woman needs to sit at home. Maybe a woman needs to go conquer, but the awareness of the desire that she has, this is something that women are very much lacking. Anybody else?
So I know our time is short, but and maybe we could just delay, postpone this till next week. But So in that case, how do you like turn things around for a woman who is lacking that connection or whatever connection with her femininity, or, you know, she's had all this other stuff that's been added on. The other question is,
Say it again.
well, you know, basically you just kind of concluded with the problem, but you didn't say how to fix it. So I'm just, and maybe there, you know, maybe
How
fixing
to
it.
fix it? You gotta, how to fix a masculine woman? You love her in a masculine way, so that relationships is just like science, like just like science. If we can categorize it, it opens up everything, plus and minus. Now, when she has too much plus, it overshadows her minus. So me as a man, I have to understand what does it mean to take care of a woman masculine, like a man? How do I need to speak to her? How do I need to behave around her? What does she need? How do I take care of what she needs, or of what she wants? How do I make her feel comfortable? How do I make her feel loved? And when you do that, you're bypassing the masculine, and you're awakening her feminine, which then creates a sense of fear and uncertainty, because in order to be feminine, she has to let go of the masculine. And if she has to let go, that means that she might lose something or be in a weaker position, because femininity is very fragile. It's very, it can get hurt. It can take a lot of pain, but it's very sensitive. And so it's an art, it's a dance, you know, and essentially also when she goes at us with our flaws, it's not because it's because in some way she's also hurt, and it's like a cry to you that I need you to become something that can take care of me so I can be who I am. I hope it wasn't too heavy for you guys.
That was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Last question. How do women fall in love?
How do women fall in love? So when you love her, this is how she falls in love. Otherwise, it's and again, and this is women's problem, because they build a figment of their imagination and fall in love with a figment of imagination, not with you. You know, she imagines, okay, he's got some issues right now, but he's probably the best I can get, and I can get it now. Now, he is workable, so I can probably do something from him and make him into something that I need. So I'll give it about 2 to 3 years, but he will be the type of man that I want. She understands after years of dating that there's no such thing as perfect. And so and also it doesn't happen on a conscious level. Like everything that happens, especially when it comes to relationship, happens under the surface. Like what are emotions? Emotions are under the surface. Subconscious stuff, which means when it awakens, there are very minute details in there which are probably means that they are the right fit for each other, because they complete each other. His flaws and her desire, it mix it long enough and strong enough, it's gonna break each other up to become something completely different. The challenge is because we feel that breakup period, when my personality breaks up, is painful, because I feel like I'm losing something. I feel like I don't understand where I am. Who am I? What am I doing? There's a lot of fluctuations. But like any period, we just go through it and we become better. So what's our topic for next week?
I think I liked what Dre was talking about.
Dre said, let me bring it up.
It's when a woman push it to do something.
Something like that, right, Dre?
Yeah, I was talking about Ben's example that she has these desires and sees this potential in you, something that you can't even see, but that perhaps you were destined for, or she perceives it that way, so she pushes and pushes. And do you fulfill that? Do you at least try it to see if you guys can get to that level where she envisions you? I guess
Well, this is
to
a,
continue
this
to
is
build her castle. You know?
yeah. This is a tough thing to address because here, right, in our group, we've already started to kind of gaining some concepts, raising our awareness to the situation, to the aspect of relationship, how it works, the interaction. If you're talking about somebody who's not listening, then there's no way she can change it. It will probably end up in divorce because a man does not take authority from a woman. She's not an authoritative figure to him. His mother is authoritative figure. His father is authoritative figure, and not always. His friends are authoritative figures, but a woman is never an authoritative figure to a guy, ever. By definition, she cannot be. If she is, he no longer perceives her as a woman. So she cannot change him from her perspective. If she's wise, that she can activate all of these areas around him, right? His family, she can develop relationships, and maybe through his mom somehow. Hint, women are very good with this. She can't really talk to his friends unless they're also close, maybe it's families, stuff like that. She has some things, but directly she can only love him. She can't be an authority and tell him you need to, you know, and it awakens problems, which the problems are what awakens the guy, not the woman. So it's kind of like all by the wayside. So if she wants him to grow, she just makes his life miserable. And either break up or he grows. That's it. It's only two options. So I don't know. I just don't see how we can expand on something like that because everything else ties into it.
All right. Well, the first two have been good. Keep going.
Okay, I'll think of something. All right, guys. Homework. Do we want to do assignments, answer questions? Do you guys want to be left alone?
No, you can't leave the homework or we need to integrate more as a group. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind a question or two.
Yeah, I'm good with the question. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of brings ideas or places from different views. The way first questions you ask, everybody gave opinions and give most of the opinions they give is on something happened in the past relationship. So that information we got from the other person actually worked out for somebody else. So I like that. I like the idea of put something in general and just start bringing up ideas or start bringing up events that happens in your past relationship. So I'm good.
Yeah.
My thing, hey, sorry guys, my thing would be explain to me how to date. Start dating again.
How to date?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, because I've been in 2 serious relationships. One 12 or 13 and the other one 8. I am so lost. I don't even know what to talk about. Put it that way. And I'm older, so my conversation would be different topics from way back then. So my knowledge is completely different. And the thing is, the conversation, she'll bring something up, and I'm like, I'll probably look at her like, you must be bugged. So,
Talk about her.
yeah,
That's
but
good. That's good. There is a science to dating. It's counterintuitive. So this is what we'll cover next. Good. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ozzy. I would like that as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brothers. Be good.
Thanks. See you next week. See
Okay.
you
See you
on
guys next week.
on WhatsApp.
yeah, keep in touch with each other. What's up? Have a great weekend.
Same way. Bye, guys. Thank you.